Hey y'all, I wanted to give you an update. Let's see, I haven't been on here in a little while. So, I'm not sure if I spoke on my doctor swapping me to Stelara for my Crohn's disease. I had the infusion sometime in February, and today a home health nurse came out and she instructed me on how to give myself the first Stelara injection. I have to admit, it was a little intimidating. I've had the Humira shots. That's the only other shot I've ever had to give myself. And the Stelara, it's a pre-filled syringe, and you can actually see the needle. So she did a really good job, by the way, of showing me, letting me practice on, it's actually pretty cool. It's a little, I guess you call it decoy, and it looks like skin. And when you actually pinch it, it comes up and it feels exactly like skin. So what I would do, I would get the alcohol wipe, okay, let me use my hand. Say if this was the decoy to use, I'd get the alcohol wipe from the center of where my injection spot was going to be, circle to the outer edge. That way you don't contaminate what you just wiped. And then you let it air dry 10 to 15 seconds. Don't fan it, don't blow over it. And then you would pinch up. Okay. Probably going to have to show you on a little bit meatier part of my body here. You'd have to pinch up the skin, but I was doing this on my stomach. Pinch up the skin, and like I say, that injection was one that you could actually see the needle. So that nurse was sitting right in front of me, and like I say, she did a really good job. She was coaching me the whole way through. She said, take a deep breath, and I was holding my skin up, holding the injection. Took a deep breath. I could see where I was going, and I closed my eyes, and I stabbed myself. And then I opened my eyes. I was like, well, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it's still scary because you had to stab your own self rather than the injector pen doing it for you. Okay, so I've stabbed myself. I've got this pen held on my skin, and I have to slowly push in the medication. I didn't video the first injection because of the nurse being here. I don't want to invade other people's privacies, especially if they didn't know about it. I don't want to do that. Maybe I could film my next one. I'm doing it every 8 weeks if it works for me, but I'm slowly injecting the medication. And then it goes in these little tabs, the applicator does. And then once it's in there, pull it out, straight out, the whole injection, the needle and everything. Pull it out first, and then release the nozzle. And the needle goes back up in the frame itself, or the case itself. So it's pretty neat. And then I had an envelope instead of a Sharps bin that you could mail it back in, and that was pretty cool. But I wanted to tell y'all about that. My first Stelara shot, Stelara, however you want to pronounce it, but it went well. I did pre-medicate 30 minutes before Well, it might have averaged out 45 minutes before. I took one Benadryl and one Tylenol, and the only side effects I did have, like immediately after, I felt the center of my chest kind of burn, and then I'll feel pain on and off on this left side of my forehead. And then during this whole day, I have had fatigue, and I haven't felt like I wanted to eat very much. And I'm trying now to eat more liquid things, especially when I get these medications, because my gut seems to be irritated once I get these. So, and to take it easy today also, because the biologic medication, it lowers your immune system. So if you did a lot today, you would feel a lot on the same day that you got your biologic. You would feel so exhausted the next day. And I'm not saying this is for everyone, because each case is different. But for me, if I would have done that, like worked a lot today, whether it would have been at work or at home, I would have been so fatigued, and my muscles, they hurt, because I guess at the time they're not able to repair themselves, because this has lowered my immune system. And another thing I was a little worried about, as you can hear, I have like, I don't want to say it's a full-on infection, but it's been sinus drainage. I can feel the pain up in here. And of a morning, I feel it in my ears and some in my throat, and I have a little bit of cough. But my GI doctor said as long as I wouldn't run a fever or wouldn't like COVID symptoms, that I should be fine. So far, other than what I just described, I'm doing fine. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to discuss with you guys. And basically, I'm just putting these videos out there for self-awareness, because there's so many different videos on these biologic medications, but it helps to see the different cases, and kind of compare to see what is normal side effects and what are the worst side effects. I mean, I hope and pray that I don't have any worse side effects, but I think the worst side effects I have really experienced was the shortness of breath. I don't like that, because I would be talking on the phone to my sister like I'd normally be doing, and then maybe eating breakfast or something, I just feel so out of breath. So shortness of breath, rapid heart rate, I guess, pain and stiffness in the joints and muscles. But other than that, I haven't experienced anything any more major than that. For me personally, like I say, this could be different for other people. But I just want to be an advocate for Crohn's disease. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease last year in 2022. And this is just new for me, because I really feel like, well, let me go back in detail. In 2015, I had an unexpected bowel perforation. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I did have maybe IBS symptoms when I was younger. At that time, I was 25, I believe. And I did have maybe some constipation issues. Milk would bother my stomach early in the morning. But I mean, other than that, I don't really remember anything that was per se off, you know. But I think as I got to that age, I started working when I was 19. Learning, everything going good. But then I had been there a while, so you know how it gets. The stress will get to you. That on top of the way my bowel was at the time, excuse me, didn't help. I think it was just all that together. But like I say, even when they had to do the emergency surgery for my bowel perforation, they were still undetermined about it. But also I think it was because it went like a whole month before I actually had the surgery, because I guess the perforation was that small, it just leaked out that slowly. I apologize if you hear that noise in the background. That is my husband's tree frogs. Hey, I'm back. Well, the reason why I had to let you guys go wasn't because of my husband's tree frogs up there. They're in the loft. My husband decided one day that when he went to the pet store, that's what he wanted. So for his birthday, I believe it's been about 2 years ago, that's what I helped him buy for his birthday. But anyway, I had to let you go because a pharmacy called me for my refill. Anyway, we were talking about the bowel perforation. Oh, like the start of my Crohn's journey, I guess you'd say. But anyway, after the bowel perforation, the emergency surgery, because it took about a month after for them to even figure out what was kind of going on. Anyway, I'm trying to think. Had the bowel perforation, had the emergency surgery, and then it was 6 months later I had the ileostomy reversal, because I had the ileostomy placed. Ileostomy is basically an ostomy of the small intestine. So I had it reversed in 2016, and I'd go back to work like 7 or 8 weeks later, and basically I'd do good on and off for a while, and then I'd get hospitalized several times, probably during every year after that, really. I'd just feel bad, or I'd go to the GI's office all the time, and they'd be like, well, it's just constipation, which, I mean, that was true a lot of the time, but they took my valve. It's called an ileocecal valve. It's at the last part of my small intestine, first part of my large intestine. So I don't have that anymore. And then that scar tissue where they put me back together after the reversal, it's narrower than the rest of my intestines. So like I say, or like I've already said, I have issues with that. Say if one day I'm in a hurry, I don't chew my food very well, it hurts. It feels like my stomach's a rock tumbler. I don't know how to exactly explain that, but it feels like there's rocks going through my intestines some days, and it's just painful. Or my intestines, they'll make really loud noises, and it's loud enough that my family members really notice, And sometimes they get confused. They're like, "Are you hungry?" I'm like, "No, I'm not hungry." Said it's just my stomach being really loud, which is digesting, but I want to say it's probably irritated at the time, and it's probably like narrow in other places because it's irritated because of that scar tissue. That's just my opinion, but anyway, Stelara is, let's see, my third medication that I've taken so far. I'm not really sure if Humira worked, but the Remicade, the side effects were just killing me, you know. The shortness of breath, I just felt bad on that one. So it just wasn't for me personally. But like I say, it could be for somebody else. If it is, that's great. And I'm glad that you have found something that agrees with your body. But I just wanted to give y'all the update. I am currently on long-term disability. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be able to do that. I'm sure, as some of you guys know, long-term disability it's based off of what your doctor says about your medical diagnosis and how you're doing. And they'll pay you for so long and then ask again for more medical documentation. Like, I think it's 3 to 6 months down the road or something like that. You have to correct me if I'm wrong, because this is the first time I've ever had to do anything like this. Sometimes it feels a little defeating having to say that I'm on disability right now. But I know some of you have got it way worse than I do. And I pray for your healing. That God will give you the strength to get through it and the hope to get to the other side. Because that's what's pulled me through many a times, pretty much all the time, and God putting amazing people in my life during my journey. Like I say, just wanted to give y'all this update. I appreciate you watching, and I hope y'all have a blessed day.